very tough, but there's one thing that I'm sure of is that I'm just not ashamed of it. The only difference is that I'm...
Man, don't make him do the dumb shit, because if he says 100 things, you'd be like, those 4 was dope. But that other 96, that...
Julia Fox is reportedly in full-blown meltdown mode after rumors exploded that comedian Marlon Wayans is threatening to leak an alleged intimate tape of her with Kanye West. And the drama apparently began during what was supposed to be a simple promotional interview for their upcoming movie. According to insiders, things went completely off the rails when Julia allegedly disrespected Marlon on camera, repeatedly interrupting him while he was discussing what it means to be a real man. Witnesses claim it was obvious she was doing it intentionally, and Marlon, who's known for not tolerating disrespect, was visibly annoyed. The tension escalated so fast that production staff had to step in to calm things down. Not long after, rumors began spreading online that Marlon was threatening to expose a private tape involving Julia and Kanye, something that instantly sent social media into chaos. Julia's team is said to be in crisis mode, desperately trying to contain the scandal as hashtags about the alleged tape trended across platforms. Fans are divided. Some think Marlon took things way too far by resorting to threats, while others say Julia brought it on herself by being unprofessional and disrespectful during a live interview. Meanwhile, people can't stop speculating about Kanye's reaction, considering his complicated past with Julia, and how such a leak could drag him back into unwanted headlines. Industry insiders are now worried the controversy could tank their movie before it even premieres, as the tension between the two stars overshadows everything else. At this point, what started as a harmless press event has spiraled into one of the messiest celebrity feuds of the year. A mix of ego, revenge, and old scandals that's threatening to destroy both Julia's and Marlon's reputations in the process.
What are real men?
Right. To me, a real man is a responsible man.
Because every time a man does some fuck shit, they'll be like, that's not a real man. And it's like, looks like a man to me.
I think a real man is in touch with his feminine
looks like a duck
side,
and it walks like a duck, yeah.
Apparently, the tension between Julia Fox and Marlon Wayans didn't start with that interview. Reports say it had been building for a while. Insiders claim Julia made some insensitive comments about the LGBTQ+ community while they were filming, which deeply offended Marlon since his child, who was assigned female at birth, has transitioned into a man. Marlon has always been open about his unwavering love and support for his son, often speaking proudly about it in interviews, so Julia's remarks reportedly struck a nerve. That disrespect, on top of her interrupting him publicly, is said to have pushed Marlon over the edge.
Is about my daughter. I have a daughter that transitioned into a son. My daughter Amai is now Kai.
Truthful.
And so
Okay.
And so I talk about the transition, not her their transition, but my transition as a parent, going from ignorance and denial to complete unconditional love and acceptance.
Gotcha.
And I think there's a lot of parents out there that need to have that message.
Julia Fox is reportedly spiraling into a full-blown meltdown after word spread that Marlon Wayans has allegedly threatened to leak an intimate tape involving her and Kanye West, a move that could potentially destroy her already fragile public image. The chaos reportedly started during a promotional interview for their upcoming movie, where Julia repeatedly interrupted and disrespected Marlon on camera. According to insiders, Marlon, known for being outspoken and unfiltered, didn't take kindly to being cut off and humiliated in public, and the tension between them quickly escalated. However, the real source of their animosity appears to go back further, to the time they spent filming together, when Julia allegedly made several insensitive remarks about the LGBTQ+ community. Marlon, who has always been vocal about his love and support for his transgender son, was deeply offended, and ever since, there's been tension simmering beneath the surface. Marlon even posted on Instagram, "Happy Pride to all my LGBTQ+ peoples. Guess I'm straight. Well, according to my child, cisgender male, I just love and support my peoples," which made it clear how protective he is of his family. So when Julia publicly embarrassed him again during that interview, it allegedly triggered him to retaliate by threatening to leak the tape, a move that could completely ruin Julia's career and reputation. Now, while some people believe Marlon went too far, others think Julia brought it on herself, given her history of stirring controversy. Still, the potential fallout from this alleged tape is massive, especially since it reportedly shows not just intimate moments but also Julia engaging in illegal substance use with Kanye. Though Julia has been open about her past struggles with addiction, claiming to have been clean for years, this could contradict everything she said publicly. For context, Julia's whirlwind relationship with Kanye began in January 2022, shortly after his split from Kim Kardashian, and it was one of the most bizarre celebrity rebounds in recent memory. They were first spotted together at a Broadway show, and later at Carbone, Kim's favorite restaurant, where Julia showed up decked out in full Balenciaga. A clear nod to Kanye's attempt to recreate his ex-wife's image. She even gave an interview to Interview magazine gushing about their connection, saying she met Ye in Miami on New Year's Eve, felt an instant spark, and that he surprised her by filling a hotel suite with designer clothes, calling it her Cinderella moment. Fans, however, immediately saw through it, pointing out that Kanye was obviously using Julia to make Kim jealous, a plan that failed spectacularly. Just a few weeks later, Kanye dumped Julia and their brief, chaotic fling became a public spectacle. Julia later admitted that she regretted the relationship, calling it humiliating and saying she realized she'd been used as a pawn in Kanye's feud with Kim. She told fans she hated that chapter of her life, and that being with Kanye was one of the most uncomfortable experiences she'd ever had. But if this rumored tape really exists, it could reopen all those old wounds, especially since there are whispers that Kanye himself may have been the one who recorded it and possibly showed it around to others. That wouldn't be out of character. Kanye has a track record of airing private matters publicly, even reportedly showing explicit photos of Kim to colleagues during their marriage. Adding more fuel to the fire, rapper Azealia Banks had already accused both Kanye and Julia of substance abuse during their short relationship. In a scathing social media post, Azealia claimed Kanye was snorting dog food, aka heroin, with his girl already, and called their relationship a PR stunt. Julia hit back at those accusations, saying she had been sober for some time and wanted to destigmatize addiction, but if this alleged footage shows otherwise, her credibility could take a huge hit. The situation is even worse because it suggests Kanye may have shared the tape with others in Hollywood, and that's allegedly how Marlon ended up getting access to it in the first place. While there's no confirmation that the tape actually exists, the rumors have spread fast online, leading Julia's team to scramble to do damage control. Meanwhile, Marlon himself has been taking subtle jabs at Kanye recently, hinting that Ye might still be struggling with substance issues. In a recent interview, Marlon made comments that many fans interpreted as shade toward Kanye, saying he's seen people lose themselves to ego and addiction. That remark, combined with the current situation, has people wondering whether there's a deeper beef brewing between the two. And as for Julia, this entire ordeal seems to have sent her over the edge. Sources close to her say she's furious and terrified that the tape could surface, especially now that she's been working hard to rebuild her image as an actress and mother. She's reportedly lashing out at her team and demanding that they contain the story before it ruins the release of her movie with Marlon. What makes all this even messier is how the public has reacted. Many fans are calling it karma, reminding Julia how she basked in the spotlight when Kanye used her to get back at Kim. Others think it's unfair for Marlon to threaten her like that, saying no one deserves to have their private moments weaponized. Either way, it's clear this scandal is spiraling fast. If the alleged tape is real and leaks, it could not only damage Julia's career beyond repair, but also drag Kanye back into a firestorm of controversy he's been trying to avoid since his divorce. And with Marlon being as unpredictable as he is, no one knows what his next move might be. At this point, Julia's so-called comeback looks to be hanging by a thread. What started as a heated argument during an interview has snowballed into a full-fledged Hollywood nightmare involving betrayal, revenge, addiction rumors, and the ghosts of one of her most embarrassing public relationships. Whether or not the alleged tape ever sees the light of day, Julia is now forced to relive the very scandal she's been trying to move past. And if history has taught us anything about Hollywood drama, it's that once something like this starts circulating online, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle.
But I am gonna say, Kanye sometimes be off his meds. He should just stay on the good meds. Don't make him do the dumb shit, because if he says 100 things, you'd be like, those 4 was dope. But that other 96, that shit was crazy.
Marlon's camp has remained suspiciously silent, while Kanye is reportedly acting like he has nothing to do with any of it. But if this alleged tape ever leaks, it won't just destroy Julia's already fragile reputation. Kanye's name will be dragged right back into the chaos, too. The moment that footage surfaces, all the old rumors, drama, and scandals they've both tried to bury will resurface, and Hollywood will never look at either Julia or Ye the same way again.